Hey guys, and welcome to the second video in my three-part video series about the Guadalupe Ridge Trail through hike. If you haven't seen part one, please go back and watch that one. I'll put the link for it down below this video if you'd like to go back now and watch it before you watch this one. That'll make everything make a little more sense. So we've made it through Carlsbad Caverns National Park and on into the Lincoln National Forest. This section, for whatever reason, mentally and physically, was the biggest grind for me of the trip. I guess just starting out, I was really excited. Looking forward to getting to Texas and Guadalupe Mountains National Park, which I obviously know really well. But the Lincoln National Forest was the unknown section of the trip to me. And just mentally, I had a hard time making it through it. Physically, my legs and especially my feet were starting to get beat up from the trails and four-wheel drive roads. But it's still a really pretty section. There's a lot to see there. A lot of interesting things happen, including some adversity with our water, taking different trails. You'll see in the video coming up that there is a few different things we had to go through. But like I said, biggest grind by far of the trip for me were these 2 days right here. And I just couldn't wait to make it back to Texas and into Guadalupe Mountains National Park. So thanks for watching, guys, and be sure and look forward to part 3, which I'll have posted in the next week or so, and that'll be from Guadalupe Mountains National Park. But until then, hope you guys enjoy this second video, and thanks for watching. Well, good morning. We just started off day 3. Got all packed up, had breakfast, and we each are carrying about 1.5 liters or 2 liters of water. We only got less than 2 miles to go to get to our first water cache, so we're looking good on water. For all the dehydration of yesterday, we got plenty of water lined up for today. Well, we finally found a tree with a hiker sign on it. Luckily, Todd has a GPS and has a good track for this trail, so we've been able to stay fairly near the trail. We kind of lost it a couple times, but we're able to get back on it. And then here's a sign where we definitely know we're on it, and the trail's a little more obvious. But down there is the old Hepler Ranch. And that ranch house is way out here by itself. I'm sure they get plenty of peace and quiet. But yeah, if Todd didn't have his GPS, this would have been a little hard to find coming out of that canyon up until this point. But luckily he had one, and water cache down here, just a quick little jump down to the bottom. Oh, we just made it to the bottom of 210. The trail junction with 222. That's the way we're heading back up over that way. But Todd cached us some water. Was it last weekend or 2 weekends ago? Last weekend, somewhere in there. He drove all the way out here and cached us some water. So we got about a 1/4 mile or so that way to pick up our water. And once we came down off that ridge and we were hiking basically down the wash, really wasn't too bad at all. Really pleasant in the shade. Some big trees. There are pools of water in the wash, which this is the rainy season, so I wouldn't expect that all the time. Anyway, we're gonna head up here and get our water cache, and then start heading back up. The official mascot of Lincoln National Forest. It's our first cows we've seen. Seen quite a few deer for our first set of cows. Probably many more to come. Does that make you hungry for steak? Hamburgers? Mmm. Here's the little pool of water in the wash. Nothing too appetizing. So Last night we started low in the canyon, went up over a ridge all the way back down to our water cache, and now we are on our way all the way back up on top of the ridge again. So this is our one real big climb for the day all at once, and then just a steady uphill for the rest of the day. We have another water cache here in 4 miles or so. So plenty of water today. Completely different story than what we were looking at yesterday. Mike can make Todd out in that blue shirt right in the center of the shot coming up this ridge I'm on. This has been a pretty hard climb, and it feels significantly hotter today. There's definitely hardly any cloud cover at all. It's very sunny. There's a slight breeze, which helps a little, but coming up this ridge we don't have any shade, and it doesn't look like there's much farther up. There's a wash right there, and up there on top's where I'm going, and it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of trees up there. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of shade somewhere. It's been a tough climb out of that from that water drop down there. I actually had to pull some duct tape off my trekking pole. It's been on there probably, I don't know, 10 years or so, and I was getting a hot spot on my foot coming down that last ridge, so when we got our water drop I was able to tear a piece off, and it's really helped a lot. But I haven't had a blister in a super long time. I mean, probably 10 years. So I swapped to using the Junction socks, and I never get a blister between my toes or anything, but this is right on the side of my foot, and my shoes are pretty much worn out. They're on their last leg for sure, so I don't think that's helping a lot. But this trail's, I mean, it's just solid loose rocks everywhere, so it's really hard on your feet. But there have been some nice sections. There's been a couple that have a little bit of dirt. Well, made it to the top, and just like I was expecting, there's pretty much no shade up here. Just waiting on Todd to make it up. That was a tough climb. That was probably the best well-maintained trail that we've done since we got off the what's basically a four-wheel drive road. This was about as good as I could come up with for shade. Got a part of my body in the shade. It does feel good to sit down. And that was our one real big climb for the day, and then like I said, the rest of the day it's just up, but a very gradual pace. And we're really not too far away from where we had planned on staying for tonight, because we did so many extra miles yesterday that I'm kind of hoping we can push on all the way to the Texas border, but we may end up staying somewhere kind of in between there. It just kind of gets kind of weird, because once you get to Guadalupe Mountains you have to stay at certain sites, and they're so spaced out that there's really only so much you can do as far as getting ahead or behind on your schedule. So basically the only way I figure it is you're either gonna have a really short day one day and then we'd be back on schedule, or we'll push through today, a really long day, and then we'd just be one complete day ahead of schedule. So we'll see how it works out, but I'm glad to have that climb over with. Little horny toad. Pretty neat to see out here. Pretty cool.
Awesome.
Way on that highest point right there in the center of the shot, can make out a couple radio towers and the Dark Canyon Lookout Tower. And right now we're standing right above the trail that leads to Black Cave. It's still hot. We haven't caught much shade, but there's a little bit of a breeze now. made it to the Dark Canyon Lookout Tower and cabin. We're gonna take us a really good break here, eat lunch. It's well deserved. Cold water to rehydrate this spicy cheddar bean dip. And I gotta wait 25 or 30 minutes. I've never had this brand before, so hopefully it's good. While I'm waiting, we actually have some cell phone service here, and I'm gonna walk out here a little closer to the edge and try to make a phone call and check in. Came up in the Dark Canyon Lookout Tower. They got the door locked, but you can come up pretty close to the top. There's some radio towers a little farther down the trail, and that's the direction we're going to be heading, I believe. And then there's Dark Canyon out there, and there were actually 3 cars here when we got here, and I bet they're probably doing Cottonwood Cave not too far from here. So a really neat area, and it's awesome to be somewhat at some sort of civilization. You got a couple buildings in the cabin. That smaller one over there is a bathroom, so if you need to take care of some business. But just great views all the way around. Really cool spot. That's the Guadalupe Range in Guadalupe Mountains National Park. That darker ridge in the back, that's where we're headed. Tell how much closer they are than when I give you a shot of it the first day. And excited to be over there. We should be at Wilderness Ridge tomorrow night, right at the border of the park. And then I'll feel way more comfortable because I know all the trails from there. Todd's done a great job on this trip, putting everything together, maps and mileages and things like that. It's really made this trip a lot easier. And Dark Canyon is just awesome. The rock is way more black than where I've seen other places in the Guad, so I'm assuming that's why they call it that. Just an insane view. I know my hat looks really goofy, but this thing has really saved me on this trail, because especially today, man, it has been so sunny and hot, and this hat has kept the sun off me, but it gives me enough room in there to let air flow through, so it's not like it's insulated in any way. It's been really nice. Well, we made it to the next trail intersection. That's the way we just came from, and that's the way we're headed. But the thing that's significant about right here is Todd had left a water cache out here, and apparently somebody found it and did something with it, took it or poured it out, I don't know, but it's not here anymore. He left it here about a week ago, and yeah, it's completely gone. So each of us still has 2 liters or so, and we're gonna try to make that last, I guess. We got 1 more water cache that will come across tomorrow, and hopefully that one's still there. If not, we're staying somewhere near Black River Spring tonight. I don't know if, I guess if we start running low, we'll hit that up. But yeah, that kind of sucks. Here's a look at our campsite for night 3. We are just past the turnoff for Black River Spring. There's a trail or road right there. Head down that way. You're gonna make it to Black River Spring. We both have about 1.5 liters of water left, since we kind of got screwed on the water cache. Thinking all day we're gonna have a bunch of water today, and we ended up barely scraping by tonight. I think we could hike down to Black River Spring, which is pretty good downhill and about 3/10 of a mile off trail, but I think we have enough that we're gonna be all right. We have another water cache tomorrow, about 4 miles from here, so I think the plan is kind of conserve a little bit and then get up early and head toward that cache, and hopefully we find it. So I found me a little seat over here. I'm gonna have dinner tonight. Not sure what I'm gonna have yet. I was gonna have soup, but I don't have enough water now to make the soup, so dig through my food bag and see what else we got. And I think Todd's in his tent making dinner. We're both pretty worn out. We're just going over exactly where we're gonna stop tomorrow night. We got a couple different options, so we'll make that decision in the morning. Well, Todd left out of camp probably 10 minutes before I did, and just trying to beat the sun. I think we're gonna have plenty of shade for the rest of the trip. Just looking at the ridges that we're gonna be going on, there's plenty of trees, just like what I'm in now. So I'm really not concerned about that. So first 2.5 days of our trip was, I mean, there was hardly any shade at all. So this has been really nice. Late yesterday afternoon, and probably for the rest of the trip we should have a pretty good shade, except, you know, a couple random spots like descending off of Wilderness Ridge or going up McKittrick. There's a couple random places we might not have good shade, but looking forward to pretty good shade for most of the rest of the trip anyway. So since Todd took off early, he's the one with the GPS track and stuff, so I just have his 1-page printed mileages on it. And I came to a turnoff not too far from camp, and the trail isn't labeled the same thing as it is on my maps, which I have saved onto my phone, and I checked them, and this is the best way I can tell that we're supposed to go. So just came a long way down off a ridge, and not really sure if this is the right way to go, but hopefully it is. Like I said, started with 1 liter of water, and if it's not and we don't end up in the same spot, that'd be a really bad deal for me. But I think if I keep on this trail, I'll run into a road, and I'll take that road back around to where I think we're supposed to meet up. Just not sure if this is the right way to go to get there. Well, we'll see. Hopefully he's taking a break not too far up here. I've been stopping a bunch to check the map and stuff, make sure I'm going the right way, and I finally saw a hiker sign posted to a tree, because the trail is not defined at all. And so I'm confident I'm on the trail, just not sure if it's the right one. So I came to a sign down this road I'm walking now, and it said private property, and we're in the middle of the national forest. So came out eventually at this little meadow, which is really pretty, but I can see some power lines over there heading up the hill, so I'm hoping we're getting close to an intersection with 540, and I hope that I'm not trespassing. I'm assuming that the road is kind of a corridor through here, so we'll see. Hopefully I'm almost back to where I'll definitely know where I'm at. It's been fairly stressful not knowing for sure. I got a decent idea, but like I said, I'll feel a lot better once I'm definitely back on track. My goodness, this is the best thing I've come across in a while. So here is the trail junction. That's the way I should have been coming from. That's the trail that I just came up that way. And then we're headed toward 540, which is the main road in Lincoln National Forest. Back that way, and there should be water pretty close up there somewhere. And hopefully Todd didn't wait on me for a really long time, and he's up there. But I'll know if he's been there or not, because he cached water there, so if his jug's got some gone out of it, I'll know he's been there. Hopefully he's hanging there waiting for me, and if he hadn't been there yet, I'll hang there and wait for him. Kind of sucks that we got split up, but apparently I just did the Guadalupe Ridge Trail low route alternate with illegal trespassing and a lot of elevation loss and gain. And I could have just stayed up here on the ridge, but oh well. That has sucked there for a while, but it feels a lot better now that I was able to find my way back up here, and hopefully me and Todd can meet back up here in a few minutes. Well, happy to meet back up with Todd. He said he'd been here about an hour waiting on me, which I appreciate. Our third and final water cache was also missing, so I guess if you are going to cache water out here on the Guadalupe Ridge Trail, you better hide it really well, because Todd put 3 of them out here for us and 2 of them were missing. So this is the water that we filtered out of this old cattle trough, and it looks not that great on bottom, but really the water is actually pretty clear and really tastes pretty good, and it's cold, so that's nice. So sucks that our cache was gone, but at least we did get water and met back up, and got 4 miles to go till the border. Be back in Texas. I made it to the trail junction. Starting to run into some names of trails that I am familiar with. We're gonna head on toward the ridge, and we're about to come into some really nice views. Holy crap. There's Guadalupe Mountains National Park. We are right outside of it, still over in New Mexico, and it's just so dramatic. That's where we're going to be staying, on that ridge to the left. Tonight I can see the trail up on top, and really excited about it. Some of the best views in the state of Texas. Those are some big mountains. Awesome to see all those trees. And we'll be up in those mountains tomorrow once we get to the top of McKittrick Canyon, up to McKittrick Ridge campsite. Well, we just made it to our campsite. Probably 10-minute walk from the state line, so we're almost to Texas. Todd got us a nice spot here under these juniper trees, and got lots of grass, and the best part is there's no cow poop everywhere. So that's a change from the last couple nights, but amazing views. Definitely the best views from here. From our campsite of the trip, and they're literally 2 seconds back behind me. You can see down into the canyon, so excited about that. About to make some lunch and just have a really easy afternoon. We got our camp set up for the night, and you can see how close we are to the edge of the ridge. A nice little shady spot in those trees, and then an awesome view just over there. This is the way that we dropped down from earlier, back toward New Mexico, and then just over this hill right here is the state line. We should be there very early in the morning. Probably can't make it out in this video, but right over there is the state line. I can see the fence with a little gate that you walk through. It's on this ridge right in here. Anyway, so really close to the Texas state line, just Enjoying the sunset here on Wilderness Ridge, looking over McKittrick Canyon. You might have just seen that hummingbird fly by. They've been all over the place up here. Just had a really great dinner, Idahoan potato soup. I put some chicken in. It was really good. So for those of you who don't know, the Guadalupe Mountains is made up of an old coral reef, and I've been meaning to get a shot of this pretty much the whole trip. We've been able to see this, but just look down into the rocks and you can see all these tiny little sea creatures that make up the ancient coral reef that makes up the Guadalupe Mountains. And I can't remember the name of them, but they're really cool, and it's really neat to be able to see all the fossils in the rock out here. So if you ever do come out here, make sure you stop and look down. Pretty much anywhere you sit down and take a break. If you're sitting in limestone, you can look around and find some sort of fossil. So the sun's gone down behind the horizon, and it's windy as is usual here in the Guadalupe Mountains, but really pleasant evening so far. Todd had a really cool app, and I wouldn't have noticed this. I was trying to make out what all these different canyons and ridges are. But this one right here in the middle, let's see if I can point it out to you. Let's see, oh, right here, that is Hunter Peak, just way out in the distance. Pretty neat. I wouldn't have noticed it from this perspective, but really cool. See the water down there in the wash. It's funny, if you look at the water, or the wash, a little ways over this direction, behind this cliff, you can't see any water in it where it's gone back underground. That's it for night 4. Appreciate you guys following along, and we'll see you later.